Welcome back to the Kilted Texan, and today we're going to be dealing with a broken EVSE, basically what most people would refer to as a level 1 car charger. Now this is one of my GM units, so I do run it at 240 volts, but apparently it got caught on a tire or something and got the wires ripped out. So I'm going to take it apart, see if I can't fix it. I wouldn't recommend doing this. I've got a pretty safe environment where this sucker sits. So, I mean, if it catches fire, so be it. And it happens, and it'll basically burn itself out before it has a chance to catch anything else on fire. So, I'm going to go ahead and give her a shot, see if I can't fix it. And I'll take you along for the ride. But basically, it ripped the wires out. So, take a look here. Like I said, this is the EVSE out of my Cadillac. This is one of my GM ones. And apparently this wire here got pulled out. So it actually separated one and kind of tore up the others. So I'm gonna be taking this apart and seeing, number one, if I need to solder back in here or what. But we'll take her apart and we'll evaluate the damage. So to do this, got all manner of nut drivers and bits and everything else. Got my soldering iron back here, more bits, other little tool kits that I may need. And then that's for my soldering iron, because this particular soldering iron is a remote one. So I can actually use it. I can use it with a battery. You got a 5-cell battery here that I can use, and it'll get up nice and hot. So hopefully we can get this all put back together. Let's start taking it apart and we'll see where the damage lies and how bad it is and whether or not I even want to try it. So first things first, we'll get in here. These little screws right here, I actually have that little nib in the center of them. They're those safety type screws. Now I only have one kit that has anything like that, and it would be these right here. I don't know if those are big enough, but I'm going to give them a shot and we'll see what happens. It turns out, and if you'll see, the little hole in the end, it was this one right here that fits just perfectly. So we got a chance to get it open. I'm pleased as punch, so let's at least see. Again, I ain't promising nothing. We'll see if we can fix it. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and try to take this out. Let's see what happens. But this little anti-stress or the stress relief part of this cable probably had the weenie when it was trying to fight against the Cadillac. Okay, that did not get us very far. You'll notice stress relief just came off of here. So we're gonna have to dig even further. We're gonna have to open the back of this thing up. Now this thing was locked down tighter than Scrooge McDuck's fist on a gold piece, but after lots of forearm workouts and lots of twisting, and I started to hurt by the end of this. It finally came loose, but that is a lot of stuff to pull out, especially with that thin little screwdriver. Now all in all, there are 8 different screws in here, all with that little nib in the center of it, those safety screws or security screws or whatever, and they are a pain. Okay, so this explains where the issue lies. We got green wire comes right here. We should be able to take that and clip it and redo that. Where is that one? So basically what happened, I don't know if you can see, but right here, it actually pulled it and it stripped this wire back, actually separated this one all together. So that one's out. So So what we're going to do is we're going to try to put all these back together, put a little dab of solder on them, put them back in this strain relief, and try to get these so that they are a little bit more secure. And I'm going to try to be more careful. I might even mount this thing up on the wall with these little hanger deals, but we'll see. Let's take a look and we'll see what we can do. And this may look extra complicated, but I'm really only interested in the path of like 4 wires here. Nice thing is all these screws are the exact same size, so that helps. You know, this thing fought me every step of the way, like it was a third monkey on the ramp to Noah's Ark and the rain just started. And we've got all of this wire to play with. I mean, this is a pretty long wire, so I mean, I can take this back and get good clean wire to start with. And if I wanted to, I could technically even go in and resolder them direct to the actual locations. Because this one, that one solders right here. In fact, why don't we go ahead and pull this plate out, and let's see if we can do that. You know, some of these screws were in here tighter than the bull's keister at fly time. It made my forearms feel like Popeye. Well, maybe Popeye's forearms have been better. We want to make sure, and we want to put these strain relief back in. I think these are a little bit larger screw, so I'm going to be holding these off to the side. Of course, they've also got a little metal spacer in there, so we know which ones they are. We'll just pull ourselves a little slack right here. We'll give ourselves an even larger span here. And I might need to go get me a razor blade and some strippers to see if I can't clear some of these out, make them a little easier to deal with. I'll be right back. We'll just go ahead and take these little side cutters here and clear out these wires. We'll clip them so we can actually have something to work with. We'll just clip them nice and short. So we got plenty of this wire back here to deal with, so I think we'll be all right. Nope, can't do that. Gonna need a razor blade to actually cut this one back. We're gonna need quite a bit of space. I'm gonna go get the razor blade. Single blade. If you notice here, I'm just making the cut down the external sheath, and we're going to pull back this rubberized coating on this, and what it does is reveals the electrical conductive wires actually wrapped with a rope and some string to kind of provide some strength to it. And it, you know, it does make it stronger, and this is a pretty heavy duty cable. But what we want to do is we want to get down to just the bare electrical conductive wire. Well, I'd say bare, just the electrical conductive wires themselves. So you're, you know, clearing out that sheath, and then I'm going to unweave all of those cable, all of the rope and everything else. And it's more tangled than a politician's explanation of a controversial vote, But you know, we get it all cleared out. And the nice thing is we got plenty of wire to work with, and this just makes it easier. So I just attack these strings and stuff with these side cutters once I get them all unweaved, and they come out pretty easy after that. All right, so now that we have good wire, start looking at what it's going to take to get them out of here. So this one seems to be the longest. We're going to go ahead and mark that one out. We're also going to go ahead and pull this because we don't want this melting. So we need to get that wire out. So what we are going to do, we're going to heat up this soldering iron and get her set. Okay, I have set it to 400 degrees, so we will let her heat up. And what we do is we'll go ahead and tin up this soldering iron, and the reason being is you want extra thermal mass. It's kind of like hitting it with a bigger hammer. It's the same thing. Energy is going to be stored in the thermal mass, so what you do is you throw extra solder on there so that it doesn't lose as much heat. You put more energy into it so that you can actually apply more heat to that wire to get it out. And there we go, wire out. And this is that black wire, so we'll go ahead and apply some tin to this wire so that it melts into the soldering area a lot easier. Basically, if you melt on both sides, makes a better joint, makes it easier to come together. What you have to do is run all these through this little doohickey. There's a black ring that looks like it's hooked up to the board itself. It's a current meter, I think. All right, so that is now set. Now we need this wire. And this one, we'll go ahead and clip not yay much off of. And then we'll take the end off. Okay. And now we got that out. A little flux on it. And then just a little more right on this back side. All right, so that one is now in. Now these two, that one took some effort. Now let's put a little flux on this one. And just in case you're interested, each one of these holes are pass-through holes that get soldered on the back side, or on the front side for that matter. And there she is. Woo! That one was rough. That one came right out. All right. So now we have this back together. And clip the end of that off real quick. I'm gonna put this back in here. putting this thing back in here was a little tough. It was like, well, it was like stretching a flea's took us over a rain barrel, but she finally went in after working with the wires a little bit. All right. Now, we're going to get this out of here. Clear that so that I can get it out of my way. We're going to start putting this sucker back together. There were 5 screws all together, 1 at each of the corners and then 1 dead in the center, and it all went together just fine. Now, are those any different? They are not. So, now one note about the strain relief is that you want to be capturing the actual black outer sheath on the cable to make sure that you get good strength. Otherwise, you're just grabbing wires and it's not going to hold very well. And you can tell I was kind of fighting with it here because that cable was a little bit rough to deal with. That and my forearms were absolutely dead from unscrewing all this stuff. So I had a little trick, and a lot of people know about this, but you'll see it here in just a sec. A little trick with most screwdrivers, and it works with most of them. You just got to find the right size wrench. You'll see here in just a sec. And that's where we're trying to clamp this wire down. Now this one over here should be a lot easier. Because it really hadn't moved all that much. And what you'll notice is that on most screwdrivers, there's flat edges. And what those flat edges are, they're actually a place where you can apply a box end wrench or something like that, depending on what size, so that you can get better leverage, because sometimes your forearms are just toast. Ooh. That was worth a shot. Now you don't want to tighten these things down too much. They're just plastic and they'll strip this stuff out. But my hand was getting super tired because these things are not exactly loose. Okay, so now these wires are set. We're going to go ahead and round that up. There's a waterproof little plug. And technically, that is supposed to go inside of that. We'll see if I'll be able to get that back in there. That'll be interesting. And I'm going to bolt it down like a cylinder head just because it's habit. And go the inside out crossways. Okay, so that's in. Now, let's see if it is even remotely possible for me to get this thing back down in here. A rotating motion will sometimes pull it off. I don't know if I got enough slack to do it or not. Well, goodness heavens, we got it. So we get that piece further down in there. You get that sucked up there nice and tight. And then this becomes somewhat water resistant because of all of those particular items all kind of stacked in there together. Whew. Hot diggity. Well, I think we fixed her. So we're going to take a look here in just a sec and see if we get any electrical faults. Okay, now that's tight. And now that's tight. Okay, let's go plug her in and we'll see what happens. All right. Let's see the moment of truth. Well, that comes up as green, that she is ready to go charge. I think we fixed her. Well, that is outstanding. So I'm going to go throw this back on my Cadillac and let her charge at a real speed instead of on my old VW charger. So, looks like she's working, as you can tell by the little green flashing light. Works like a champ. You can also probably hear the AC kicking on. But that charger works like a champ on this Caddy. And then the other one is working in my ID. So we are set, good to go. Only took me a little solder and well, a little bit of pain, some hurt forearms, some strength, a little bit of time, some cursing, all sorts of good stuff. Well, that's all I got, but if you're gonna crash into that like button and subscribe for more, and we'll see what else we do. Y'all have a good day.